gather and together consciously and intentionally wind down this really, really difficult year and have a chance for us to really bring our attention to our inner lives and what the work that needs to be done, especially coming up on the 10 days of turning, beginning on Monday night. So thanks for being here, and thanks for creating this community that supports each other in our spiritual practice. Thanks, Linda. Appreciate that very much. And as always, want to invite everyone to take a moment, if you haven't already, to prepare yourself for our practice together by closing windows on your screen that you don't need, turning off your phone or other device, anything that's distracting to you right now. And I don't know about you, I had a very, very hectic morning. So for me, it's extremely helpful to receive a few deep breaths through the nostrils and breathe out through the mouth, maybe 3 deep breaths. And feel that. Allow that to let us land together. We might be in disparate physical places geographically, but we can definitely sense the connection as people arrive and the number of participants increases. I'm going to take a moment to see if there's a blessing that is coming up within you, something you need. For myself, may I be blessed with Hishtavut, equanimity, balance. With so many strong emotions stirred up, it's easy for us to get thrown off kilter and out of balance. And we pray for that ability to stay balanced, keep the equilibrium. And I invite you to share your intention or your blessing for yourself. Just fill in, may I be blessed with maybe just one word. And equanimity is not the same as resignation. It's keeping balance to be able to be present and responsive. Thanks for those who are sharing your blessings in the chat. And we're coming up on our time when we create together a blessing for healing. So let's scan our lives for a moment, and you can put the names of those you'd like to include in our blessing in the chat. And if you're struggling with any health issues of any kind, please let us know if you're comfortable doing so, or if you'd like to just let us know if you'd like to be included in our prayer for healing. And let's take a moment to be with each of these folks, virtually hold their hands and give them a hug. Let them know they're not alone in whatever they're struggling with. This is true for any of you struggling in any way. And together we pray for refuah shlema, complete healing of body, mind, and spirit for all those in need of healing, and where healing or cure may not be possible. We're praying for comfort and strength and support and peace for those for whom healing it might not be available, cure is not available. And yes, we are still praying day by day, not forgetting our siblings who are held in captivity in such dire straits, even amidst everything else going on, keeping them in our minds and our hearts, and praying for them. And of course, praying for all those who are in harm's way, those who are at risk, endangered, and who have lost their homes or had to leave their homes, and we're praying that they be blessed to return to rebuild their lives and homes and live in peace. And with that, friends, let's begin. Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Margolius with the Institute for True Spirituality. Welcome. Welcome to everyone, one and all, to our daily Jewish mindfulness meditation practice. Really good to see everyone. We're coming to the close of the month of Elul. Of course, the new year begins this coming Monday night. So speaking of which, just want to mention that we will have a sit on Monday, Erev Rosh Hashanah, that will be led by Sarah Waxman from At the Well, who leads us on or near Rosh Chodesh. And Rosh Hashanah is the only holiday that falls on a Rosh Chodesh. So Sarah won't be leading us on Rosh Hashanah, but leading into Rosh Hashanah. Also want to, and then we will not be meeting live on next Tuesday or Wednesday in observance of the new year. We will be back on Thursday, and I just want to make note that I'll be leading the sit next Thursday, a week from today. That's one of our quarterly sits co-sponsored with Dorot in New York, on the theme of aging, mindful aging. And our practice next Thursday will focus on the line from the liturgy in the Yom Kippur liturgy in the prayer Shema Kolenu Al Tashlichinu Le'et Zikna. Don't cast us off in our old age. That's going to be the theme of our sit next Thursday. So I hope you'll join us then. And we'll be here tomorrow. Rabbi Jenny Solomon will lead us sit into Shabbat together. So we have a wonderful week of practice this week and next week to start the new year. I hope you'll join us. And Rabbi Dorothy Richmond next Friday will lead us to sit into Shabbat. So as always, when we're not meeting live, you can always watch recordings on our YouTube channel. And also, we're delighted to have 2 new episodes of our Jewish Meditation for Everyone podcast. One from last week, Kohenet Kashir Haleb Fife's beautiful practice. And tomorrow, actually, that's Thursday, this morning, a new episode featuring the meditation led by Rabbi Sam Feinsmith this past Monday. So 2 beautiful meditations. If you'd like to use them to prepare for the holidays, highly recommend them wherever you get your podcast, called Jewish Meditation for Everyone. Just quick reminders about a couple of upcoming IJS programs. Our text study series coming up with the start of a new cycle of Torah reading later in October, and also our new a new version of our program, The Four Worlds of Kabbalah, a mindfulness-based introduction with Rebecca Schisler and Sam Feinsmith this fall, starting in late October. Thanks to Natalie Rushinoff, who's holding our tech space today and all week, again, as usual, beautifully, for sharing the links to those programs. So you can check out those links after our sit today. And also, if you have participated in either or all those, we really count on word of mouth to let people know about these opportunities. So if you know of somebody who you think might be interested or benefit from any of those, from those programs or any programs that we offer, including the daily sit, please spread the word. And thanks for being our ambassadors in that way. And with that, happy to turn things over. I'm so always delighted to welcome back Sabrina Sojourner, chaplain, a Shlichat Tzibur, prayer leader, spiritual counselor, who has led us from the get-go over 5 years ago, believe it or not, on a regular basis. And currently, Sabrina is connected as co-founder and co-leader of an organization called COSBAR, which is a network by and for well, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna mangle it, Sabrina. So you're gonna untangle the acronym JOCI.
JOCism, which is Jews of color.
JOCism. Okay.
Yeah,
Jews of
Jews of color,
color, Indigenous.
indigenous Sephardic and Mizrahi Jews.
Thank you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I should know that, but thank you for the assist. And it's a resource for gathering, exchanging, educating, healing, and centering the robust diversity of our Jewish people here in the United States. It's a beautiful thing. And we're always a pleasure to have the opportunity to sit and learn with and from and meditate with Sabrina Sojourner. So thanks always, Sabrina. Over to you.
Thank you. It's always lovely to be here. Um, this is one of my favorite times of year, and yes, that because it's an opportunity to really, it's an invitation to really be with the past year and what has gone well and what hasn't gone well in particular, and where are the places that we need to take ownership for that. I had a conversation today with some colleagues, um, yesterday with some colleagues, and one of the things that came up was joy. And in that discussion, she expressed the despair around discussing joy at a time when there's so much sorrow in the world. And when she finished, I said that I completely disagreed with her, not because I don't respect how she's feeling, but because I know that my people, in terms of Black people, people of dark skin colors around the world, as well as Indigenous people also around the world, would not be alive today and still doing the things that we want to do in terms of fighting for freedom and for justice if it weren't for the fact that we allowed ourselves to experience joy in our families, joy in our communities. Joy is one of the ways that enables me in particular and other people I know in general and in particular to survive the onslaught of really horrible things. There's no other way to do it. So when we leave our hope behind, when we lean into the horror, we are really robbing ourselves. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to focus on a particular portion of the Parsha for this coming week, or for this week. And that is uh, Hamitzvah Chazot Hasher Anochi Karov Elecha Hadavar Meod Beficha Ulevavacha La'asoto. What this instruction is very close to you. It's in your mouth and in your heart for you to do. It's not far. It's far or out of reach when we make it out of reach. And the beginning of that talks about that. So I invite you, for those of you who are struggling with how to be joyful or how to include joy in your life in this very difficult time, not just in our country, but around the world, to really be with that child inside of you that seeks love and seeks joy and is ready to give joy and happiness and hugs to others, those close to us, and sometimes perfect strangers, because in a conversation, we can find out that's what we both need in order to close a conversation or an interaction. So just as we begin this meditation and start to be more inside of our bodies, my extended invitation to you is to hug it all, the sorrows and the joys, the ordinary and the extraordinary. Hug it all as it arises. It all belongs in our lives, and it all is what sustained us. We cannot be ready to fight civilly and with our values if we're leaving joy behind. And so, with that, I invite you to get a little more comfortable in wherever you are sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. And just sigh first. Take a deep breath and just sigh. And as you're sighing and breathing, note where the tightness is. And as we begin a series of structured breathing, make sure you include that spot as where you want your breath and breath energy to go. So the cycle is 4 breaths in, hold for a count of 4, and 4 breaths, and then 4 count of 4 out. and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 3, 2, 1. You might feel a little tightness in your shoulders. That's okay. We're going to breathe that out too. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Four, 3, 2, 1. You may want to sigh. That's welcome. And as we go to this next cycle, when we get to the release, feel free to make noise. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Move your shoulders and your neck and any other part of your body that's feeling the need for release. Since my inner child just decided to climb onto my lap, I'm going to invite you to invite your inner child to also do the same and just be and feel the energy around you. It's amazing how easy it is to even feel energy through Zoom. And so you may feel some energy above your head or just touching your head. Let it come down over your head, feeding the chakra that is there and in your forehead. Let it come down, down, down. Rest on your shoulders and pull tightness out of them and out of your chest and out of your heart. Let it move down your back and hips, out of your fingers, and let it weave its way down, down, down your thighs and over your knees, and down, down, down your legs. Feel your feet, whether they be on the ground or crossed next to you. Feel your whole body slightly above and let the energy go down, 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 down past the basement and the foundations, all the way through past the roots to the deepest rocks, to the hottest rocks. It's all there. And when you're ready, find a place to anchor yourself. What is the gift your inner child is bringing you for this moment and for this moment forward? If you have not yet asked your inner child what gift do they wish to bring you, I give you a moment to do that and to listen. And when you are ready, I invite you to take your right hand and place it over your heart, and to take your left hand and place it over your right hand, and feel the energy of love moving through you and around you. And when you are ready, I invite you to extend your left hand and let the loving energy spread. It will go where it needs to go. And if there's people you want to direct it to, that's okay too. And the energy and the love we feed also comes back to us. And when you are ready, open your eyes.
Thank you so much, Sabrina.
It's my honor, my pleasure.
Much, much needed and really deeply appreciated by all of us. Thank you so much for that gift. And we can seal the beautiful practice by extending that love to those among you who are in mourning or observing a yard site. And or if it's your custom to join in the mourner's Kaddish. And if you're not joining in Kaddish, you can stay present and extend that left hand metaphorically or literally to those who are saying Kaddish. Thanks to Natalie for sharing the words of the mourner's Kaddish on the screen. You can put the name or names of those you're honoring in the chat now or afterwards. And if you're reciting Kaddish, please join me by rising in body or in spirit, after which I'll sound the shofar as we have been doing throughout the month of Elul. Yitgadal,
Kadal be Kadash.
May
Alma Gilach Yute
Baba
V'Yamid
Ma
He
Ra
V'Yechol
Irite
V'Yomishon
Family
V'Yeh B'Chol Beit Yisrael
Agala
V'Agala B'Zman Karev
Ban Kari
Yimru
Vimru Amen.
Allah
Yishmei Rabba
Ishme
Marav
Rabba
Olam Amen
Ame Amaya.
Barach Tabach
Vayishtabach Ba'avi Ramam Nase
Yitgar Yitalel
Hadar
Yisrael
Vile
Madai
B'Olam Dumet Sham
La'ela min kol
Elam
birchatav
Kata B'Shirata
Chata
Kata
b'nechemata
B'Nechemata
Amiran
Namiran Be'alma V'Imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba
Maya
Samaya
V'chayim
Amen.
V'chayim V'chayim
Amen.
Amen.
Shalom, Yimamav, Nasa Shalom,
Shalom.
Sojourner,
Aleinu
Yaakov,
ve'Elohim Israel.
Kuya
Kibber
Shekedah,
Shetevel.
Eaton Brew.
Amen.
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 Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. And if you're leaving us now, I want to, of course, encourage you to come back tomorrow. Let's sit together, sit into Shabbat together with Rabbi Jenny Solomon. If you came in a little bit late, just a reminder that we will be meeting on Monday, Erev Rosh Hashanah, and as well next week, Thursday and Friday, but not obviously on Tuesday and Wednesday, as we observe Rosh Hashanah. But as always, you're welcome to stay on. We hope you'll stay on just to continue to sit with that joy that Sabrina invited us into today. And if you'd like to ask a question, you can write question all in caps, put that in the chat, and I'll keep an eye out and try to work your question into our conversation. Oh boy, thanks, Sabrina. I will admit that I have done more doom scrolling than I normally do in the last 24 hours, and this felt like such an unbelievably helpful antidote to that. So I want to personally thank you, and I see a lot of appreciation in the chat as well. Well, there were different thoughts that came up for me, but it was just so powerful to hear you talk about how joy, the essential really role that joy has played in their survival of oppressed people, marginalized people, people of color, indigenous people, etc., and in Jewish history for that matter, obviously. Um, uh, uh, we have a whole system, we have a whole joy system, basically, right, of blessings and holidays that are, it's not all Tisha B'Av and Yom HaShoah. We have, in fact, the apex of the fall season is Simchat Torah, which sadly is more, has over since
Yeah.
in um, the last 2 years been marred by October 7th. However, let's talk a little bit about joy. One of the things that struck me was that, in the secular realm, we say Happy New Year. We wish each other joy, but we don't say, in Jewish tradition, we don't say Shana Smecha, happy year, right? We say Shana Tova, a good year. And you weren't telling us to squash the other feelings. You were just, what I heard you saying basically was, hey, don't forget joy. No, yeah, it's all there. All the other things are there too. Anger, pain, grief, keep going.
Shock and
And
horror.
joy.
Yeah.
So
And joy.
I wanted to ask you if it's not too personal a question, because I imagine, you get a little bit down in the dumps sometimes too. Um, What do you do when you find yourself in that place? How do you access joy? I mean, the practice we did today with accessing the inner child who kind of innately has that joy, presumably, right, is
Mhm.
one strategy. And I was wondering what clicks in for you to remind you that? How do you get to it?
There's a number of different things, and the one of the things though definitely is that um, I have grandkids that span two generations, and so I am committed, innately committed to wanting to make the world a better place. It used to be before I had kids, it was, for what it was for a number of different reasons. But
Mhm.
how the foundation of it is Lador Bador, from generation to generation. If I'm not doing the work, what is the work that I have to pass on to others? And so I have a lot of work that I want to pass on to others. And that's part of how Cosbar in their journal, which will hopefully be out soon, will came together, is that we were looking for a place where Jews of color, including indigenous Sephardic and Mizrahi Jews, and serious allies could create something that was where we were actually talking to and with each other as opposed to talking across each other.
Mhm.
And we have some beautiful art and some beautiful poetry. And as I've been, well, we did have this minute a few weeks before the deadline where we're thinking I don't know if we're going to get anything, and other then suddenly we had this huge flood, and which is really exciting, and it's all gorgeous work. And we have people who have been published and many people who have not been published. And so it's an opportunity. That's one of the things that's keeping me going right now, because it's not just a one-off. This is
Mhm.
something that we plan to have going for a while. And so, and the things that people are up to, uh, both those that I know well and those that I don't know very well, is fabulous. It's exciting. And I'm not the only one who's saying, remember joy. We must remember joy. Joy is love. Joy is love for our families, for the stranger. It's love. Love is love. It has all different kinds of shades as well, and it can't not be left behind.
Um, the other phrase that came up for me, I was thinking, was ancestral wisdom. Thinking about there's it's very easy to fall into the trap of feeling like it's all on us or it's all happening now, and to lose sight of the continuum. I'm kind of getting that from what you were saying about your grandkids and Lador Vador, and you know, realizing that there's this continuity of wisdom and strength that is continuing to flow through us that we're not usually conscious of. And that helps a lot. I mean, like in the times in which we're living, when when there's hostility that we thought we were kind of past, right? Right.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
or we kind of wished we thought or wished that we hope had passed, that we had, grown beyond that. We were living in a world that had grown beyond that, and turns out not so much. Um, that we can draw on the resilience and the joys of the people who came before us by
Yes.
remembering them and what they went through, and the fact that they could experience joy along the
Yes.
way.
My great grandmother on my dad's side, of blessed memory, she passed away when I was like 9 years old. Uh, uh, she was a child who, when she was born on the Trail of Tears. That's what it
Mm.
was. I was trying to remember. Yeah, she was born on the Trail of Tears. So she grew up in an era and that was really hard. She was actually part of a group called the Malungrans, but that's a whole nother discussion I'm not going to get into. But my point being is that um, when I went to visit my dad's parents and she was living there, she was what we know now is senile. And my grandmother was always afraid that if she was in there, I was in there by myself, that she would hurt me. And one day she came in and said that to us, and we both said at the time, I said she would never hurt me, and she said I would never hurt her. And
Mm.
after that, she left us alone. Uh,
Mm.
so I learned a lot of stories, most of which I don't remember. However, I'm certain that one of the reasons I'm a storyteller is because of my great grandpa.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's so powerful. Can you say a little bit more about Cosmar, about like, what this journal is going to be, and
Yes,
vision?
it is about Jewish culture and art. We are interesting enough. We've not had anybody yet submit commentary. We want it to be there to be commentary on the Torah portions, and we'll figure that out as we go. But
This
the
is
larger piece
this is an
is
online journal.
online. It's
Yeah.
online at cosbar.org. Well, it will be online right now. Like I said earlier, we're shifting in,
Right.
but it will be online at cosbar.org. And it is the majority of contributors at this point are Jews of color from from around the world, actually, which we didn't expect, but I've definitely invited.
Mm. Mm. There's a question here from Glenn that I think is worth addressing here. Often the inner, you see it often the inner child that rises is one that already has tears in its eyes. How does one, and I guess the inner child that needs comforting, how does one allow the other inner children in ourselves or our ancestry come to comfort or encourage the one with tears? That's a great question, Glenn.
Oh, that's lovely. A lovely question. The first rule is don't try to make it happen. Just be in a place and a space, create a space within you that welcomes it. I did not expect my inner child to climb into my lap, but I was like, oh, since you're here, maybe I should invite other people to do the same. So, and that's how I do it. But the being willing to be understanding that we're never disconnected, we're always connected. Inner child is always around. My grandparents are always around. My great grandparents are always around. They're not far, they're right here.
That we can access both our inner child and also our ancestors in that way through through the gates of the imagination is really powerful. It's interesting, I was thinking also, I was going to ask you, like, and maybe I'll ask everybody, what age is that inner child? When Sabrina invites us to think about the inner child, how old is that inner child? For me, it's kind of a toddler age. Because I've got toddler grandkids, it helps me like access that stage of life a little bit where, the joy is definitely there, but also all the feelings. But the main thing about the toddler is all the feelings are there, they're not repressed, right? They're
Yeah.
completely revealed in some way. So whether it's pain, sadness, fear, anger, joy, they're all
Love.
there. Love,
Yeah.
unabashed,
Yes.
uninhibited, right? So it's an effective way of getting past the inhibitions so that we can access ourselves, the part of ourselves that needs to comfort the child that's crying. We can access the part of ourselves that needs to resonate with the joy of the child that's feeling joyful in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
My
about
my
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, just add that I'm living with my son, my amazing daughter-in-law, and two of my three grandkids, and it is uh the 7-year-old, now 7-year-old, is just always full of the immediate emotions, and so part of what we've been talking to him about, and when he gets upset, is how to regulate his emotions, not to ignore them, but also just to know that there's a need to regulate them. And sometimes it means that if he's upset with his brother, understanding that he has a right to be accepted with his brother because of whatever just happened, and so not to dismiss it in any way. And because I think that some of us grew up in an era when we were taught, don't do that. Whatever that is, don't do it. And the only way to learn how to regulate is by practicing regulation.
Yeah. I want to appreciate those who responded and are saying it's interesting that there's a real range of ages from toddlers to 10 years old. And it's just it's so interesting that we have the diversity that's reflected there. But I put the
Yes.
website, by the way, for Cosbar, so people should stay tuned there.
Yes.
All right, so let's end with this question. We just have 2 minutes. Good question. I guess it's a variation on what I was getting at Lori's question about what words. Also, obviously not everyone has children or grandchildren,
Right.
but our focus here is really on our own experience as a child, our inner child,
Yes.
that we're calling up, not to mention other children we might know. But Lori's question is, what words might one say to one's inner child who's feeling more fear than joy to elicit the joy we know is in there? That's a really good question.
That's a really, really good question, and it's a really important question. And part of what I do is when I'm feeling that additional anxiety that it's sometimes hard to let go of, is I just sit with it. I sit with my adult self and with the child self. And sometimes I even do a meditation with my child self deliberately so that I
Mhm.
can be more connected to whatever it is I need to be present for now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's grief, like this is the in this time of year, at 6 years ago, I lost a lot of dear people in a very short amount of time. And so Elul and its texture has drastically changed for me from that experience. And so I really allow myself to move through all of the windows of joy, of sadness, of curiosity, of wonder. That's one of the reasons I put this picture up from a few years ago when there was a convergence of, I think, Mars and Saturn. And that's the picture I took out of my not very good, but very great enough camera to get that picture. That's real awe and wonder. It's something that I don't know if any of my immediate aunts, immediate people and young people in my life will be able to see. And
Hmm.
it's really important that they know that there's some kinds of things just to be awed about.
Yeah.
So far, they're too young to be able to stay up long enough to see a meteor shower, but we're getting there.
Hopefully you'll get there soon. All right, we're at time. Sabrina, thanks. Really, we can't thank you enough. Really deeply, deeply appreciate today's practice and the holy work you're doing. And it's a gift for us to be connected in this way. And hopefully one day in person.
I
Um,
look forward to that. I really do. All right.
Thanks to Natalie, to all of you for being here. We hope to see you tomorrow to sit into Shabbat together with Jenny Solomon, everyone. Stay safe and well. Many blessings.
Shana Tova, Shabbat
And
Shalom.